Is CERN a sequel to the Philadelphia experiment? As an introduction, we should mention that several books have been written that report on the Philadelphia experiment. Hundreds of articles in print magazines and on the internet support the existence of a program that the USS Eldridge DE-173 made or tried to make invisible, which was later granted, the ship was later granted to Greece as part of the US military assistance that was renamed, the ship was renamed Leon D-54. At the same time, it has since been scrapped. Now, at the same time, however, there are several skeptics who argue that the famous experiment never took place, very characteristically based on official records that it mentions, summarizes. In reality, however, there is not the slightest tangible proof. Unfortunately, AT Leo became scrap metal in 1999. If this ship had been turned into a floating museum, it would be a top tourist attraction for Greece today, given the reputation of the former Eldridge and that it accompanies it. Now, as we understand it, if there really were any evidence to prove the existence of the experiment and its effectiveness, according to the rumors that accompany it, they no longer exist. But who can say with absolute certainty that what happens and what did not happen actually? Now, all of this seems to have come out of science fiction. It is in the context that we have written this. Important revelations seem to come to light, connecting many things together. The well-known Swiss journalist Caroline Zuppinger did an in-depth research on the well-known Philadelphia experiment and the exotic, quote-unquote, invisibility technology that is said to have been developed by the U.S. Navy and took place on 28th of October 1943. The path of this research led her to a research laboratory known as the Montauk Project at the Air Force Montauk Station in Long Island, New York. The Montauk program is believed to be an extension or even a continuation of the so-called Philadelphia experiment, which is formally challenged and canceled. According to Carolyn, the Montauk Project has to do with weird stories about space travel, energy manipulation, mental manipulation, astral travel, remote viewing, and more. In addition, what seems like the most shocking revelation of all this, that there are links between the Philadelphia experiment, the Montauk Project, UFO technology, and CERN. And her research concludes that CERN is essentially a technological continuation and evolution of the previous ones in order to develop an exchange system with alternative dimensions, quote unquote. All this, paradoxically, seems to connect with the secret military programs, experiments, and tests performed on humans. On the other hand, there is no relevant, tangible evidence for all of this, so it's very easy for anyone to refute Carolyn's allegations. However, it follows her publication in a Swiss newspaper, according to what she researched and learned. Some scientists who officially give their light to CERN, but unknowingly work on secret experiments in hidden rooms, have decided to publicly complain that in one of them there is a mechanism that handles magnetic fields on a planetary scale, and that of course, that has nothing to do with the particle physics or other official budgets. The subject began to take on great proportions, but world journalism did not write a word about this. Few things were announced by citizens present in the courtrooms until the trial continued in camera. Now, according to various reliable sources and information, as circulated by word of mouth, there were witnesses who testified that the essential but informal role of CERN was to unite the Montauk Project with that of the so-called Philadelphia experiment in order to experiments related to teleportation and also time travel. One witness testified one of the highlights of Montauk's case is the so-called psychic chair, detached from a crashing flying saucer stored in Area 51, which created an energy field around it to relax and enhance astral energy. And the connection to mechanisms that secretly survived the Philadelphia experiment and were connected to CERN counterparts when the inertial accelerator was fired causing panic among all staff in all departments, wherever they worked. Quote, all the security systems started screaming at the same time, even those for fire, with no fire anywhere, end quote. And they went to say, I cannot claim to know exactly what they do at CERN, another witness said, but all I know is that one of the hidden purposes of the CERN Hadron Collider is to communicate with other dimensions. The one who sat in the psychic chair disappeared, and we never saw her again. We don't know where he went, if he went anywhere. Now, another witness said, after modifications to the psychic or mental chair and its connections to the other mechanisms, they began to place objects, mainly metals, such as gold, silver, steel. They were also disappearing, but we knew where they were going. Where the first unfortunate man who sat in the armchair was found, what was happening was a satisfactory transfer of objects to another dimension in perfect condition. Unfortunately, live material like guinea pigs could not survive, end quote. Now, the trial continued behind closed doors without ever finding out that they knew exactly where the items were going, how they were watching it, and if they could take it back, that is, return it, to make a reverse transfer. Many whispers were circulated later, mainly from the audience that managed to attend the trial, and up to a point, it was said that the psychic or mental chair was improved so that it was turned into an entire room, and from there they began transporting, essentially hiding gold and other things in an alternate dimension. Human transportation has also improved to the point that there were no major side effects, they said. Can you guess what the main purpose is? Someone asked, in a well that was being made outside the courthouse. No one answered, so he replied, the very fast transfer, relocation of people to other worlds other than Earth. It's a modern version of Alternative Solution 3, end quote. And this I've translated for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.